High Level is a full CRM and marketing platform, and I've used some of the best in the SaaS industry. And we are live from LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. We've got Instagram. I think that's all the channels. Welcome to Welcome to WinsDay Revenue Party, people. We've got our hot topics and our hot guests we're going to be getting into in just a moment. But before we do, I have to mention High Level and Cherry Assistant. Cherry Assistant has made it possible for me to scale. I couldn't do it without delegating. Thank you so much to Layla in the background, who's helping produce this show. And I want to encourage you to do the same, is delegate. That's how I've been able to grow, and it's how you can grow too. So just think about it for a second. Like, what is a task that you have in the back of your head right now that someone else could do? Is it an executive assistant role? Is it bookkeeping? Is it something else? Well, there's an expert somewhere in the world within your budget who has those skills and has the language to communicate well with you. So talk to Cherry Assistant and they will help connect you with your next virtual assistant. And if you reach out to them, make sure that you let them know you heard about them through WinsDay for $250 off your first virtual assistant. So yes, thank you, Layla. And we're so glad that you're here. Layla's in the background. I'm going to try not to click on top of her tonight. I like to do that. But I'm just going to hold on to this mic right here. But also I want to remind everyone of High Level. So this is a tool we use. We white labeled it. So it's app.reveting.com. And every time a new client signs up with us, they get their own account. That means they get their own CRM and marketing automation platform just by letting us help them with their LinkedIn live stream. Of course, it's not just a LinkedIn live stream. We repurpose it to podcast, short form video. We learn your voice. We keep your socials going, all the things. But long form content on LinkedIn is the B2B strategy. And this is gated. So everyone who shows up, we get their emails and we put them right into the CRM. And we do that for our clients too. And yeah, it's actually really working. So I love being a marketing agency who can give a CRM to businesses who might not necessarily have one, because then I can hand over the leads and say, here you go. Here's proof of our work. So you may not want the white labeled agency version of High Level, but you might want a CRM that, isn't going to be 5 figures or more. I mean, I was a CMO. We were spending 20,000. I mean, even I don't know. So like on some of these tools out there are ridiculous. And we don't need to do that anymore. High Level was built around AI and it is $97 a month. When I first started my business, if I would have stayed with HubSpot, it was going to be $300 a month just to get a dedicated IP. And that even alone was too much. So I started with High Level from the very beginning, and it's only $97 a month when you get started. You get 3 accounts with that. So I had one for me, one for a client, and then one for testing. And since then, I've just been able to add more and more. So check it out. I could talk all day on it, but I digress. We have 2 amazing guests that we're bringing on for WinsDay tonight. Welcome to the show. We've got Debra Collins and Divya Gugnani. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Jesse.
Hi, Divya. Hello, hello. Well, in good old-fashioned WinsDay style, we always ask our guests to tell us your full life story. And of course, everybody can go on LinkedIn and read your resume. So that's not really what we're looking for in the introduction. We're looking to know who you are because we're going to be getting into the topics. But like from birth to what brought you to now, can you kind of fill in the dots in between all of your experience we can find on your resume? And what do you think, Debra? Can you kick us off?
I'll kick us off. Let's do it. A lot of years to cover. Hi, I'm Debra Collins Andrews. My life story in just a few minutes. I grew up in the state of Maryland, which is where I live now. Early signs in my life, I was showing some signs of creativity. I loved to write at a very young age in elementary school. And I also love to kind of create and sell things. Lemonade stands, pizza, lead circuses in my backyard. So there were signs that I was creative and maybe I wanted to do something entrepreneurial. it took about 15 years for me to be in a situation to jump out on my own. Started my business, Marketri, in 2004. So I've been at it for quite a number of years now. And really why I started the business was I love to build things. I love to create departments from scratch where there really isn't anything there, or there could be something there could be a department, but maybe the pieces aren't in the right places. So for me, I love putting things together to drive outcomes and growth. The other reason why I started my business, and probably most importantly, was back in 2004, there wasn't really Zoom and flexibility, and I was a single mother. I wanted to work really hard. I'm very career oriented and very driven, but I also wanted to make sure that I was at my daughter's lacrosse games, soccer games, her choir practices, and didn't want to miss a beat. Time is fleeting. It goes by fast, and now she's a full-blown adult. So don't regret any of my decisions. And here I am 22 years later with Marketri as a really exciting and thriving business in the fractional marketing AI era. So that's a little bit about me. I hope I covered enough that's not on my resume.
Awesome. Yes, that's so great to hear. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, and that just like makes you so much more human, right? Now we know you've got a daughter, and I don't know, just such interesting things. I had a lemonade stand too. I was definitely that girl. But Divya, can you do the same? We'd love to learn more about you from birth to what brought you to WinsDay.
Absolutely. I'm going to start with I was not the lemonade stand girl, but yet I'm an entrepreneur. So I was born in Springfield, Illinois. My parents are originally from India. I moved to Long Island when I was 3.5. Grew up there, went to undergrad at Cornell, studied government and economics, then went into investment banking at Goldman Sachs, then moved on to both private equity and venture capital at multi-billion-dollar funds. So I invested in early stage businesses, I invested in late stage businesses. I learned a lot about business from being an investor. And then I took the leap. After going to business school and getting my MBA, I ended up going back into institutional investing. And then one day I just decided to start a business. And I have now co-founded 5 companies, and I have sold 3. So I've had the experience of launching, building, growing, scaling, and selling. And I have raised every type of capital you could imagine: venture capital, private equity money, family office money, angel investing. And I have my own fund, Concept to Co, where I invest in other entrepreneurs and back them and help build and grow with them. And I also have my own brand, 5 Scents, which is a sensory experience and fine fragrance. Think of it as your mood bottled. And so I have a clean, fine fragrance brand that sells at Sephora, on TikTok Shop, on Amazon, and my DTC. I'm the mom of 3 kids, and that's probably the most fulfilling part of my life, is having 3 children. I have a 13-year-old son, an 11-year-old daughter, and I had a 22-month baby. So I had her after 10 years after having a child, and I'm starting all over again. And I love every day of that experience. I am also wildly passionate about traveling, and I love to cook.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. How incredible. Yes, I'm also a mother too. Like, it seems like we can all connect on that. I've got an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old, and to think to like in 2 years have another baby, like, wow. Like, so, but I'm hearing more and more women like having babies later on. So it's definitely not out of the norm. It's
Yeah.
like you advance and you get to a different place. You want to experience it all over again.
It's so interesting. I built a business, I scaled a business, and then I sold it in 2025, which was last year. And I knew that that exit was coming and that was going to happen like relatively soon. And then I was like, it's now or never. Like, I'm having this baby, and this is like, after I sell the business, I'm going to have that post selling your business depression. I'm going to avoid that by being very excited about having a baby.
Oh, amazing.
This is how we do therapy over here. We create humans.
You got to balance out all the excitement, right?
Oh.
Well, let's get into our first topic, which is fractional leadership as the future of B2B growth. Debra, can you kick us off on this topic?
Sure, I would love to. So my company is a fractional marketing company, and It seems like a strange concept in a way, because you think it's like pieces of individuals, like an arm and a leg, but it's not that at all. Most people by now are familiar with fractional executives, fractional CMOs, fractional CFOs. They've been around probably for the last 10 or 15 years. Some of my peers and really well-known companies specialize in sort of fractional executives. However, marketing has increasingly become a discipline of specialties. Back 20 years ago, one marketer, could probably do mostly all the things marketing, could do a little writing, little graphic design, because there weren't that many channels, to be honest with you. Enter the internet, digital marketing, social media, the channels just grow now with AI, technology. And so to really put together a marketing department that is capable of driving growth, you need a lot of different skills, and those skills aren't going to reside in one person. So fractional marketing for B2B growth really gives you all the skill sets that you need to power up your marketing strategy, your marketing plan, and your growth for your company, without having to bring in a lot of different full-time people. For mid-sized companies in B2B, that's cost prohibitive. Good marketers aren't inexpensive. And so the fractional marketing model really gives you sort of that flexibility where you get a slice of a CMO, a slice of a marketing technologist, a slice of marketing AI specialist, all sort of wrapped up in one fractional marketing department. That's very affordable for B2B companies that are looking to scale and grow. So the trends are all kind of moving in the direction of fractional marketing. And in some ways, a bold statement would be like, I feel like it's gonna be very, very difficult to have in-house marketing teams solely moving forward, because it's just going to continue to become specialized in the AI era. So that's a little bit about the fractional marketing model and why companies, especially those that aren't used to sort of collaborating and partnering with outside firms, may want to start to get more comfortable with it, because it really can be a powerful growth strategy for businesses.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So you've basically made a whole business out of the whole fractional CMO. I think that's so smart for businesses too. I'm a fractional CMO for one client still. It's my former employer, and I was their full-time CMO. And I had convinced them to allow me to go fractional once my podcast was sponsored and I was trying to like handle this, and they're still a client. So yeah, I mean, so I have a little bit of a taste for it, but it's quite difficult too, right? Because you're doing a lot of the CMO work within a fraction of the time and within a fraction of the budget. So I don't know. Divya, what's your, sorry, I was just going to bring Divya into the conversation on this a little. Oh, you're on mute. Have you worked with
Sorry, yes. I work with tons of early stage businesses, and early stage businesses cannot afford senior level CMO talent, yet they need that talent actually in the early years of their business, because that's where they're basically crystallizing their brand story, their brand voice, they're figuring out their product market fit. They're testing tons of marketing channels and trying to figure out what channels work for their own distribution strategy. And so early stage brands in particular need that senior level marketing talent to set direction for all the kind of executionary people that are on the ground in an early stage startup, and yet they can't afford it. So fractional work, especially fractional senior level talent, is like the way of the world in startups. So for us, it's like, I find it's better to have fractional time from a powerhouse who can lead with vision and insight and strategy and guidance, and then have an in-house execution team to deliver that.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm sure you see a lot of that too, Debra. Like what's your experience?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Like a lot of companies that haven't invested in marketing either because they're early stage, or perhaps they're companies that have been more sales led than marketing led until they realize, okay, there's a gap. We need more marketing support. Our message isn't resonating. There's more competition. And so you really need a fractional CMO to help set that key messaging, the brand strategy, develop the go-to-market plan for the business. And, as Divya said, then it's a matter of like, okay, well, how do you execute that? And sometimes it is a matter of having like an in-house marketing team, depending on your resources within your business. But sometimes too, if you need your HubSpot or your CRM setup, you need to run email marketing campaigns. You need to be doing some PR, which is becoming increasingly important in the AI era and getting more AIO. You're looking to build your website and your web presence. I mean, that's a lot of different skill sets. And so thinking beyond just the CMO is critical too. Like, how do we work with a company both to help set the strategy, but also as a key partner in executing, analyzing, and optimizing our program, leveraging in-house team as well if you have people, but kind of bolting on so that you have a team that is as good or better than maybe your Fortune 500 competitors.
Yeah, such a great point. And did you
I
say
think also in my
AIO?
session, I'm going to talk a lot about like just using AI as a co-pilot, because for so much of this work, I think if you have human strategy, human experience, human intelligence, setting the stage and the roadmap, when you leverage that with an AI co-pilot, the results are just off the charts.
Yeah,
100%.
it's like having a new coworker, like right by your side.
Exactly. It's like, it's not the replacement of, but rather the amplification of. And it's like having a second brain, or like just taking processes that take way longer and simplifying them and creating, the efficiency in work that you'd never had before.
Yeah, I love AI. We got a couple comments I'll bring up. So we've got Doug Lehman. Thanks for coming back, Doug. He says, good breakdown of fractional strategic concept. How do you see this strategy used in others beyond the C-level executive? Good topic in layman's terms, which is his thing. His last name is Lehman.
Yeah, so again, it goes beyond just the executive level. Because marketing is such a specialized field, you need to have folks that are excellent at doing marketing technology. I'm not a marketing technologist. I rely on marketing technologists in our team, people that are really good at, say, leveraging AI models in creating great original creative content. People that can tell stories. You need people that are capable. I mentioned like AIO, which is artificial intelligence optimization. It's the new SEO. It's for businesses that want to be found on ChatGPT and Claude. Some of the same principles apply, SEO, AIO, but some of them are different. And so that requires different skill sets as well. So beyond just the executive level of getting the strategy and the go-to-market and optimizing on that strategy, you need people that are highly skilled in those specific things to be working as part of your marketing team. Again, for mid-sized businesses or scaling businesses, it could be cost prohibitive. It doesn't make sense to have an FTE that can do just that one thing. And so leaning more into this fractional concept across the entire marketing department is what my company does and what a lot of firms need moving forward, and have needed for a while.
Yeah, 100%. If you are just now tuning in, which there are 10 of you across, let's see, YouTube, X, Facebook, and Twitch. So 4 of you are on X, 3 are on one LinkedIn YouTube channel, 2 are on another. Then we've got like, I don't know, 10 on one LinkedIn Live because both of them are streaming too. And then 5 on comes the other. So if you're here, there's some of you here. I don't know how many total. I have to do the math. But drop a comment and let us know you're here by just letting us know where are you tuning in from. Like put in the city and the state where you're tuning in from. We want to hear from you. Or like what industry you are in. How can we make this conversation more relevant to you? But one more question before we move into our next topic, which is how do you decide which parts of marketing are best handled fractionally versus fully in-house?
Thanks so much for that comment. That is a great question. It really depends on your particular go-to-market strategy and what channels you're going to be using, how much you need to build your marketing infrastructure So for example, if you are a professional services firm, that usually professional services firm lean heavily into thought leadership and PR for credibility. Those are some things that you might want to bring in-house because you're going to need a lot of content creation. You're going to need a lot of PR. Perhaps you might not do as much digitally. So you may do on the fractional more digital, like email marketing, setting up your CRM, your lead scoring, building out automations and things of that nature. You might not need someone full-time to do that. So it's really like very customized to your firm, where you are in your marketing journey, how much of the marketing infrastructure and brand infrastructure has been set up, and then what is your go-to-market strategy and what is your budget. All of those factors kind of go into what is best to have in-house versus what's best to have on a fractional basis.
I think you want to also just have things that are strategic and relate to your brand voice and your marketing messaging. I think is something you really want to keep in-house. Social listening in terms of like competitor listening, things like that. Like that's something that in-house people really know the brand, and the brand elements that touch your core, I think are important and strategic to keep out in-house. Out of house is stuff that I think, Debra, you mentioned, like anything where you don't need that skill set every single day, but you need it part of the time. You don't need a full-time person, but rather you need that skill set every 3 days or once a week or review. That lends itself inherently to fractional work. And then anything that can be systemized, I think, and scaled via systems, I think can be handled fractionally or can be handled with a combination of outsourcing and AI.
Definitely. And speaking of AI, let's hop into that topic. So the next one is AI as co-pilot in consumer brands. What actually works? Can you kick us off, Divya?
You're muted.
Uh-oh, I can't hear you. Can you hear us, Divya?
Oh, sorry. I think
okay.
I can hear you right. So I wanted to kick off with some statistics, but just for shock value and like understanding and setting the stage of how prevalent AI has become. So one of the things I read recently is that 1.8 billion people have adopted AI and are using AI, but only 3% of those people are actually using paid versions of AI. But the adoption is faster than any sort of system in the history of time. Like there are like social anthropologists who are talking this like about AI as like revolutionizing the world in a way that has never actually happened before. So I think the impact of AI is widespread and felt across all industries, all walks of life. And when you think about business, particularly any stage and size, the enterprise reality is that at the enterprise level, about 78% of organizations are actually using AI. And if you think of big examples of big companies like Coke is coming up with new flavors, and Coca-Cola Creations is using generative AI to make those decisions. Unilever is making product development decisions as well using AI. And when you think like consumer-led brands like my brand, 5 Cents, for example, AI, as I mentioned, is a co-pilot. It's like I founded the business, but yet I have a co-founder, which is AI, which allows me to amplify my skills, my knowledge, and my expertise in ways that I could never before. So I don't view AI as a human replacement. I know a lot of people, hot topic is AI's taking jobs, AI's, creating this really difficult career landscape for people graduating college. I understand all of those things, but in the consumer industry where I'm playing and working, I find that AI is insanely powerful, and that if you can leverage it to the best of your ability, you can amplify your results, your output, and drive tons of cost efficiency and time efficiency. What is your most precious commodity as a founder and as a business leader? It's your time. And AI every single day gives me time back. And that is literally the most valuable thing. So just thinking about some ways I use AI in my brand and my business. So first of all, any sort of strategic decisions, like it's almost like AI is a business therapist. It's like if you can give AI context of whenever I'm making a decision, I'm always looking at, okay, this is what has happened in the past. I document all of that. If you feed that information to AI, the more information you give AI, I use projects in Claude. A lot of people use ChatGPT projects. I happen to really love using Claude. I set up individual projects for everything I'm doing across different facets of my business. So everything from social media content creation to paid media ads to marketing decisions and brand voice decisions, product development decisions, operations, finance, product development, COGS, supply chain issues. I set up separate projects and I feed AI with tons of material and data, voracious amounts of data. And where AI really gives you leverage is it is able to parse through so much of that data, and it makes it more intelligent and gives it context to allow it to basically help you make the best decisions for your business. So as I mentioned, it becomes a co-pilot in all these strategic decisions. However, it has amplified power to allow you to forecast, to do demand planning. You can feed in, oh, well, this is my sales history for the last however many months across TikTok Shop, Amazon, DTC, Sephora, and then it can do predictive modeling around how much inventory you're going to need, when you're going to run out, when you should trigger reorders based on all your different components of your product that have different timelines and development timelines and when they can be ready. AI is incredibly sophisticated, understanding complex problems and coming up with real world simple solutions. And it's not just about writing marketing copy. It's not just about, brainstorming a social media calendar, which are easy, simple ways to use AI in consumer. It's about taking it to the next level. And the more information you feed AI, the better the results are.
So true. Garbage in, garbage out. So if we're not
Correct.
feeding it enough non-garbage, then we're not going to get anything that's not good. So
And really also coming up with one of the biggest things I've unlocked. I'm actually in an AI leadership group, and when we talk, one of the biggest things that we learn from a lot of mentors who come speak to our group is that they say that if you work very closely with AI to have AI generate the prompt, you actually get the best data that comes out of AI. So if you're like, okay, act like a startup attorney who reviews startup commercial contracts, and by the way, what are all the questions that you need to ask me for you to review this contract? And so AI can literally ask you all the questions, and then you upload the contract, and then you're like, create a prompt such that you can do the best review of this contract and see what's advantageous about it, what's disadvantageous, and what should I negotiate. But if you instead of just like uploading something and saying, hey, review this and give it back to me, if you take the additional steps, you actually get the additional thought processes coming out in terms of really quality results.
Yeah, like if you actually want like good feedback, constructive feedback. I did the same thing actually today, building my newsletter that went out. If you are on it, revening.com/newsletter. But I copied the whole thing. I put it into AI and I said, act as an email expert and let me know what you need in order to make this better. And like, please let me know of all the different ways that I can make it more cohesive, because we've got different sections, different influence and different sections. So I need it all to look like it's coming from me. So yeah, I ask it to, what do you need to know to like make it better? And then it'll give me a list of questions. So who are you primarily targeting in this? What is your main call to action? It's like, yeah, I didn't even think through that. I didn't give you that information.
100%. And then one of the best things to do is just understand your audience. Like whenever you're doing any marketing and communications, just the more data you can feed AI on your audience, the more it can tailor and craft personalized messaging around building more emotional connectivity with your brand, and that emotional storytelling or the emotional resonance that comes. It doesn't have to be AI generic. You can create really deep emotional resonance by understanding your audience and understanding their pain points.
I think that is super key, Divya, exactly what you said. And just to piggyback on what you said, I also am a Claude fan. I also have Claude projects in almost everything I do, including a Claude co-CEO. Since I'm a sole owner of my company, I often wish I had someone to bounce something off of. So I've created a whole personality that challenges me all the time in Claude projects. But to your point, I think make those prompts rich, exactly what you said, and put in to AI, whether you use Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini, the information that only you know about, whether it's about your company or your client, who is their target audience, who is their ICP, what keeps them up at night. I mean, certainly AI can fill in some of those gaps, but you know your business, you know your client, the more information and context that you can provide, you're going to get the best information out of that. If you try to shortcut that process and really have AI just kind of do all of the thinking, you're probably not going to end up with something, you know, of top-notch quality. So I saw someone type in kind of garbage in, garbage out. So yes, so to speak, it's still probably going to be better than nothing, but do your homework, kind of lean into your own expertise, put in information. And I love what you said about, you know, tapping AI to help create the prompts that are going to create the best outputs as well. So great.
100%. So she says she tuned in late. Are you using custom GPTs? So
I use them and AI agents. I think the more customized you can actually build in your systems, and your infrastructure, and your history, the better responses and better work you can get.
100%. Yeah, let's see. Do we have any more? Well, keep the comments and questions coming on AI. And would either of you have anything else to wrap up on this topic of AI as co-pilot in consumer brands, but also in B2B, and what actually works, and maybe even like what doesn't work? Because I was on I was producing a podcast the other day, and they were talking. It was a bunch of accountants talking about being careful using AI on your accounting because it can mess up the math, and you'd think something as simple as math. So I'm just curious, you know, in addition to what actually works, have you seen anything that doesn't work with AI?
I definitely have pretty strong opinions. You know, being in B2B, probably 50% of my clients are in professional services. So thought leadership, content creation is very important. And when ChatGPT came out, I think everyone's like, oh my gosh, you know, the CPAs and the lawyers and the engineers that I work with are like, yay, we don't have to write anymore. We're just going to put stuff into these models and it's going to crank out all this content, or we're going to have our marketing team do it. And unfortunately, what happened over the course of 18 months is like all of this very gray and beige and boring content kind of flooded the internet, and everything started to sound the same, and the same sort of like types of words were being used, and it became very easy to spot AI generated content. And so with any form of thought leadership, what you really don't want to do is have AI both be the thinker and the copywriter. You want to have AI be the copywriter, but you as a thought leader need to be doing the thinking and putting in the tool, like things that only you can know from your firsthand experience of working with businesses or working in the trenches. What are those golden nuggets? Because having that unique point of view is really what's going to make your content stand out. Otherwise, people can get the information that they need from the large language models themselves. And the reason why they're going to want to read something created by you is because you actually have a unique point of view on the topic.
Mm-hmm. Such a good point. What about you, Divya?
I feel strongly that you can spot AI stuff a mile away. And particularly for writing, there must be a human interface. So like, as I said, I don't view AI as replacing people in my organization. I look at it as a co-pilot and making them more creative, having more opportunities to brainstorm, come up with out-of-the-box ideas, to spend more time generating ideas and iterating and getting to the best final work product. And also the efficiency of actually doing the work is there at the same time. But I always say this, there must be human interface with anything that is client-facing, consumer-facing. Like there needs to be the human authenticity that is injected to any AI being part of the process. AI is great for first drafts, but final drafts are made by humans.
Yes, 100%. People can tell. And as you were talking earlier, Debra, about, you know, the bland content that you could just tell was all, what is that one word that sticks out to you? I'm curious from the audience and both of you too, that like I can just never use the word game changer ever again. Like, is there one word from AI that you're like, that word
I
is
think
just
it's
so
the M
AI?
dashes. Whenever you
M
see the
dashes,
M dashes,
hate
you know
those.
that it's AI. Like, please just
No.
fix the M dashes. Like, I literally put in
Yeah.
Claude, when you write anything, don't use M dashes.
I would say M dashes, game changer, and delve. Delve. For
Delve.
whatever reason, that word is very overused. So in all of our prompts, it's like, don't use delve. Do not. And don't put in M dashes unless absolutely necessary.
And all the emojis, please just leave them out.
Oh, leave it.
I digress. I still want to hear Sarah Hanks. I know you probably are thinking of some AI words. Sarah is an AI master here in the comments. What's that one word, Sarah or Layla, that comes to mind, or whoever else is here tuning in? I know there's at least 20 of you across platforms here tuning in right now. Like, where are you tuning in from? What questions do you have for us? And what is that silly AI word that you can just trigger from a mile away and you know that is AI? And Sarah says underscore. Yeah, absolutely. I can feel that. Okay, well, we've got 2 more hot topics we're gonna get into next. AI with intention, building smarter, not just faster B2B marketing programs. And Sarah also says, I hate M dashes. And we're gonna be getting into that right after this brief message from Cherry Assistant.
This is Mike, also known as Clean with Mike on Twitter. Mike hired a virtual assistant from Cherry Assistant about 2 years ago. Now he has a $50K per month business fully managed by a remote operator in South Africa. His VA from South Africa does the following: closing inbound leads on the phone, Yelp and Google and Facebook, manages his CRM and go high level, deals with rescheduling, cancellations, any issues, hires and manages the cleaners, and sends them daily reports and updates. Mike has a fully cash flowing business managed by a remote operator for only $8 an hour. You can also hire a US equivalent worker in the Philippines, South Africa, Latin America for a fraction of the cost with Cherry Assistant. Be like Mike and grow your business with offshore staff.
If you are watching or listening to this on audio only podcast, we're showing a menu of services right now, including but not limited to lead generation, CRM management, prospecting assistance, sales presentation preparation, data entry and cleanup, customer support, project management assistance, and so much more. Just go to cherryassistant.com or scan that QR code that you're seeing on the screen to go check out their website, fill out their form, and when you talk to them, let them know that you heard about them through WinsDay for $250 off. All right. Sarah says one more thing. She says subtitle, title, subtitle. Is that what? Oh, yeah. Like AI kind of like organizes your writing. Is that what you're saying, Sarah? That's pretty hilarious. But yeah, you have to edit your AI, especially the writing. Now let's get into AI with intention, building smarter, not just faster B2B marketing programs. Can you kick us off, Debra?
I would love to. So with B2B marketing programs and working with AI, one thing that you want to stay away from is having everybody within the company using AI in completely different ways. I mean, you can share best practices, prompting best practices, but really to realize like efficiencies in AI in marketing and even outside of marketing within operations in general, you want to identify use cases within your organization where AI can have a measurable impact. The impact of AI use won't be the same in all places. Some will be easy, quick wins. Others will be more complex tasks to sort of tackle. But a starting point to like intentionally building like a B2B infused program within your organization is to identify, again, all of those different use cases within your organization. So within ours, one of the things that we do is email marketing campaigns. Well, how can AI help facilitate and streamline email marketing campaigns or content marketing campaigns? And then looking at all the different steps that go into that and where AI can facilitate that. And so you end up coming up with these best practices that, number one, can be sort of automated so that everybody in your company is kind of moving in the same direction and using AI in the same way. But then to take that a step further, you can start to say, all right, well, how can I build automation as part of this and sort of remove a little bit of human layer, but keep humans in the loop for both the inputs and for verification and checkpoints, but start to have it be more automated. The second is, can you build an agent to, again, not replace a human being, but to help expedite that? So when you're looking to kind of use AI in B2B and scale, whether it's within marketing or other parts of your operation, it's really like looking at how AI can play a role, and first breaking down how it can play that role, then looking at ways to automate it, and then take it to the next level. Like, can you create an entire agent around that to own a big part of whatever it is you're trying to do? So in my own business, again, being in marketing, content creation is king. And so after building out best practices of ways to create original content without del or em dashes, and using our own human brains to input into AI, so it would come out with things that people actually want to read, that have voice and tone, that are entertaining. We leverage those best practices, and last summer we brought on a director of AI innovation, and he has created an entire agent we call Connie. Connie now is what we use collectively across our entire organization for content creation, whether that content is for like long form, short form. It could be visual, like leveraging Nana Banana in Gemini to create different visuals. Connie is able to do that, and it leads our team through a series of prompts to make sure the inputs are uniquely human and it's getting all the right information. And then it will leverage, its magic formula in producing outputs that are then reviewed by humans. And so that's kind of a way, an example of how to kind of scale B2B organization within marketing and outside using generative AI.
Yeah. Well, thank you for those ideas. I mean, there's a lot of actionable like ideas there for people to take away. I'm curious, Divya, you are also you're an AI expert. You're on did you say you're in an organization panel? What? You're on mute again, by the way. I know. I have a mug
myself so that you don't have to hear any background noise, but then I need to pay attention to turn it on. I am in an AI leadership group, and I am an AI fanatic. Like, I'm obsessed with learning about it. I'm obsessed with growing with it. And so it's just, for me, it's just a daily part of my life now. Like, I just feel like it makes me so much more efficient and powerful and a better thinker. It actually, what's fascinating is some people say,
bless you.
Yes, thank you. Some people say that there's like brain atrophy and you're not doing tasks because you're having AI write emails for you, do everything. I actually don't use AI in that way. I use AI to actually learn. So I have constant curiosity and like tons of intellectual curiosity. And I'm always like, want to learn how to do this or want to know about that. And I just ask AI questions all day long. And every day I feel like I have information at my fingertips and I'm learning by getting all the answers.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know if either of you follow Adam Robinson. He's with R2B. What is the other company name? Like, it's R2B, but there's another name he calls it. Anyway, he made a post on LinkedIn maybe in the last week where he was talking about how he downgraded, and don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure he cut the team in half from like 5 employees to like 3 employees. And it's like, well, how did you do that? Well, he got an AI clone. And I saw someone in the comments was asking earlier, like, when is AI taking over people? And that's always the big topic, right? And now, like, we're seeing one CEO already like talking about doing it. Like, where do you both see us in terms of like being with this? Because we're all kind of saying the same thing, that like you still need humans to edit it. Well, we're all content creators in some degree here, so we're like, you still need humans, but then we have CEOs cloning themselves by AI and able to, keep the same amount of revenue and just,
it's fascinating. It really depends on the business. I'll give you an example. Like, I have friends who run as side hustles, like IG pages, and they run an Instagram page and they're doing content on a particular vertical, whether it's health or wellness or fashion or style or beauty. And they can basically take their face and they can create avatars where they can use generative AI to create videos with scripts so you can brainstorm a script with AI, put the script into a generative AI tool, then have a talking video of you without you putting a stitch of makeup on your face, combing your hair, having to deal with any lighting, dealing with an outfit, like dealing with bad weather and not having natural sunlight. Like you can film one video and from that generate hundreds and thousands of videos of you speaking. However, I have a TikTok channel where I spend time, talking about entrepreneurship and investing and kind of things that are important to me and lessons I've learned. That is me talking, and it's me as a human. Like when I tried to use generative AI for it, like I couldn't even look at myself. Like I was like, who is this person? And my lips are not synced and my teeth look weird. And I'm like, so, I think if I have friends that literally create channels and they use only generative AI. So the people who are watching this content only see that. They don't actually know any other version of that human being. And so I think for people who have actually seen the real thing versus looking at the AI avatar, it's very easy to distinguish, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
It's really kind of interesting to think no makeup, all of that, or you look perfect. You've got your perfect avatar. I haven't tried it, but
There's
I've
a
heard
tool
that.
called HeyGen, which a lot of people use, and you
Yep, I
can
use it.
create an avatar of yourself. So you can film a video of yourself in natural light, speaking as you normally do, exaggerate or use gestures wherever you normally do, and then you can literally paste in scripts that you can brainstorm with Claude or ChatGPT, and then have HeyGen create videos of you actually saying those words in your voice, and you can record your voice and clone your voice.
And then you can ask it to say, hey, have me say that in Spanish. And then you're opening yourself up to a whole new market.
I love it, Jesse.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they literally have a lot of languages in there. I do it every year. I do a witch video every year since HeyGen's come out. I think it's been 3 years now, maybe 2. And I put in a witch picture of myself, and then it's like me cackling and talking about why you need a personal brand. But yeah, no, I'm a big HeyGen fan. It's fun. But to me, it's fun. It's not like I would create a serious video of one of my clients on there and like post it on their channel, because people wouldn't take it seriously. I don't think it's at that point yet. I mean, some deep fakes are really real looking. I don't know how they do it. Hey, Jen, though, like I wouldn't go take like a CEO, and then have them like say something and then post it on there. Also,
but doctors are doing medical content. They're just being like, you know what? I don't have time to film and I want to share all this medical content on my channel. So I'm going to film myself once in scrubs in the hospital. And then I'm going to create hundreds of videos of me looking like I'm in scrubs in the hospital.
So funny.
You just wonder, with so much fake content out there and really starting to not be able to distinguish between what's real and what's not. And in some ways, people are on their devices and on technology so much, whether the human aspect is going to be appreciated so much more when people do come with their imperfect faces, with not, everything looking great, and maybe like saying and not being perfect in terms of their speech, but having an interesting point of view and something unique to say. I do think people that have unique points of view and can create unique content are going to stand out in the future. I do think this technology is going, just like with the content creation, the written content, it's all going to be overused at some point and get very confusing. And I think the human being will stand out for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Which leads us into our next topic, which is about live streaming. So one reason I'm all in on live streaming is because, and you're talking about live stream for commerce. I talk about live stream for B2B. I mostly help businesses go live on LinkedIn and YouTube, as well as the other channels, but primarily LinkedIn and YouTube. And it humanizes them. It gets them in front of their audience in real time, when you can get the CEO of a business and all they have to do is show up. And then we're able to, hand over gobs of content to their marketing team and transcriptions and all the stuff that they can use. But, it keeps them real. I don't see AI replacing live streaming anytime soon. I mean, the type of conversation we're having with chats and comments, like AI can't replace this. So live streaming is only going to get bigger. So can you kick us off on social selling and live stream commerce, Debra?
Absolutely. Let's start with the data first. I'm data driven. So 87 billion in 2025. That's US social commerce. And it'll surpass 100 billion in 2026. And so this market of social commerce is not an experiment anymore. Social commerce is rapidly growing. It's actually up 22% year over year. And when you think about global live stream commerce, which is a subset of that, it's 940 billion in 2024, projected to be 2.5 trillion in 2033. So nearly an annual 40% growth rate for global live stream commerce. And so that's commerce that's happening through streaming media. And so if you think about TikTok in particular and just kind of narrow in on the US market and TikTok being the dominant platform for live social selling, it's about $16 billion of US sales in 2025. 16 billion, guys, that grew 407% from 2024. That's dramatic growth. That's telling you that's 18.2% of US social commerce. That's like a good chunk of US social commerce. It's really starting to eat into US social commerce and be a fast growing engine for US social commerce is global live stream, but I'm talking about the US in particular, live stream commerce. So let's talk a little bit about the demographics. Definitely, it's 58% of TikTok users are making purchases directly through the app. It makes it very easy. Literally, once you do it once, you're like back in TikTok buying 5 other things that you may or may not need. It's primarily led with Gen Z and millennial adoption. 45% of baby boomers have used AI for shopping in the past 6 months. And you're getting 11% of boomers are using it daily. So for US social buyers, what you're really seeing is that now brands are looking at this as a distribution channel. So while it used to be a like content creation brand story channel, like you would go live, you would have a Q&A with the founder, and live streaming was a marketing education channel. Live streaming is now becoming a commerce engine and a place to do business and to do sales. And I, in my prior life, because now I've had many iterations of being an entrepreneur, so company number 3 out of the 5 that I have co-founded and founded and built a proprietary technology for intelligent shopping recommendation technology, and I sold that company to QVC. So I worked at QVC and I was on the ground experiencing live selling in our headquarters like on a regular basis. I was both a host and also a guest when I brought my beauty brand Wander Beauty on there, which I've also now since sold. So I have a tremendous amount of experience in live selling. I really believe that this is the future of commerce and social commerce, and this is a channel that people cannot ignore, both as consumers and as brand owners.
100%. Absolutely. And I'm one of those people on TikTok that brands will send me their samples and then I go make a video on it. And it's like extra points if you go live with it. And I tell you, anytime I go live and I talk about a product, things happen with it. Like absolutely. Like it gets more activity.
You have to tell me your TikTok handle, and you're a TikTok affiliate then, right?
I am a TikTok affiliate. Yep. My TikTok handle is Jessie Lezak. It's just my name. Everyone should go follow me. I've been mostly talking about live streaming there now. That's my niche is live streaming. So I talk about live streaming, but I do my makeup. So I do my live stream makeup and I get live stream clothes. So I'm like, this is the best live stream shirt. This is, by the way, you can go get this on the TikTok shop. I need to still make my video on this one. But yeah, this is a TikTok clothes. I got TikTok makeup. I get all these Korean makeup things. I'm wearing Korean makeup on this show. I promote them on there. I love it. But then like Sarah was asking, will commerce cross into B2B as people's expectation change, online shopping and price transparency? So in my like daytime job, I'm a B2B marketer. And so I help businesses go live on LinkedIn. And while we may not be selling products live, we are building trust and closing the trust gap with buyers who will then go search your website to say, oh, I actually needed a marketing agency who does GEO. And they're talking about that on this LinkedIn live. So let me go direct to your website. Or you're talking live and you can gate your LinkedIn live on a company page. So we help businesses go live, every week. And so once a week, we're handing them over leads who are just showing up to their LinkedIn live. And so like, yes, we're not directly selling products right off of here. Although a lot of the time we will put up QR codes. It will be like, check out this QR code and head on over to this website. I was just doing that earlier. And it works. I would say though, like with B2B, I've seen businesses bring on people on their show and leave that show selling to the guest $80,000 deals. And so there's a two-part prong. You've got your audience, but then you're bringing on people on the show, so they'll build a relationship with them, and you tell them, don't sell to your guests. That's tacky. But inevitably you build a relationship and they're like, I need your service. So, I mean, I've seen businesses make money with it. Basically, the client I've had the longest has now renewed multiple years and continuing to go live on LinkedIn as a main source of getting leads off of their LinkedIn live. So yeah, I could talk all day about B2B live streaming. It is still sort of new. People are still like, is LinkedIn really a great place to go live? Well, only 1% of the people on LinkedIn are actually active. So it's so much easier to build traction on LinkedIn and on TikTok. Like on TikTok, I've got 11,000 followers. On LinkedIn, I've got 30,000 followers almost. It's easier. And I post 3 times a day on TikTok. I'm only posting 1 time a day on LinkedIn. So yeah.
So what I'm so curious about is when you go live on LinkedIn, do you feel like LinkedIn favors the accounts that go live because they don't have as many people going live? And obviously in TikTok, there's got tons of people going live. So do you think that you get more exposure and they put more reach and impressions behind your content because you go live?
I do think that. I think LinkedIn and all the social platforms, they want you to use all of their features. So if you're
Right.
the one that's, putting in the document posts that look like carousels, document posts, you're doing a text post, you're doing an image post, you go LinkedIn live. That's the only way to get a long form video on LinkedIn. Otherwise you're capped at like 5 or 9 minutes. Can't remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think it does help the impressions.
I have found that as well. Anytime you're staying native on the platform, even just creating an article or a newsletter native on LinkedIn, it will show better because if you post something from a third party, they're going to make the picture like super, super tiny and it just doesn't look all that appealing. So yeah, it favors people that want to stay on the platform. And so we found in terms of our recommendation is to get more people within organizations active on LinkedIn and creating their own content, their own articles. And, Jesse, it's been a really interesting part of, WinsDay and learning more about live streaming, to be honest with you, because, to date, it hasn't been like an active part of the marketing mix for a lot of my clients. And you really have me thinking about this in a different light. So thank
Oh,
you.
awesome. Yeah.
And
Thank you.
you for sharing those statistics because it's very eye-opening.
100%.
Great.
Well, I could go on about live streaming all day, but I do know we're at the end of our show. So we want to make sure we do the guru of the week. Okay, let's pull up the gurus. I'm going to pull myself out of the screen here. Could you both tell us who your guru of the week is and why we should go follow them on LinkedIn?
I'll go first. Sahil Bloom. I know this is not like something innovative and out of the box that you haven't heard of, but his posts are just, I don't know if they just speak to me. They're thought-provoking. They pull from literature. They pull from studies. They have data behind them. I find them sometimes inspirational. Like it's a dose of so many different aspects of my life that I really enjoy reading.
Amazing. I will go follow him. My guru is Paul Reitzer for a number of different reasons. One is he grew and scaled a marketing agency. His agency was the first HubSpot partner, and he sold his agency quite a number of years ago. So successful in his own right. But just about 10 years ago, he was so forward thinking about AI and created the Marketing AI Institute. And probably didn't have as many followers pre-Gen AI and ChatGPT, but now his institute has really taken off. He has another company called SmarterX, and they just put out consistently great, authentic content that's thought-provoking in the field of marketing and outside. I am a listener every week to the AI show that they produce. I'm a part of their kind of mastery series, which gives you kind of up close and personal Q&A with Mike Kaput and Paul Reitzer. So, and then they have MACON every year, which I have not attended yet, which is an annual conference having to do with AI. So Divya, as much as you love AI, you might want to check that out. But I follow Paul and everything he has to say.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for sharing your guru of the week. We'll tag them in the comments who maybe will be lucky enough to get them on the show one day. other than that, I mean, this has been a really great episode. Could you please both let the listeners know just a little bit more about you before we go? So who it is you serve, how you serve them, and if they could be served by you, how do they reach you? Debra, could you let us know?
Sure. My company is Marketri, Marketri. We are a fractional marketing and AI consulting company, and we serve scaling mid-sized B2B companies that are really looking to make their marketing a revenue driver for their organization.
Amazing. And how about you, Divya? If folks wanted to reach out to you? Yeah.
Yeah, you can read the best way to reach me is really on social media, either Instagram, Instagram DMs. I read the most. It's at D Gugnani, DGUGNANI. I am also on LinkedIn, but not as diligent about checking my messages on there and on TikTok. I am the co-founder and CEO of 5 Cents, which is a sensory experience in fine fragrance. Think of it as your mood bottled. We create amazing, clean, fine fragrances that are long lasting and are available Sephora, Amazon, TikTok, Shop, and our own DTC, which is 5cents.co. And I'm also the co-founder, I'm the founding partner of Concept to Co, which is an early to mid-stage investment fund that partners with entrepreneurs and gives them capital to help grow and scale their businesses.
Amazing. Well, both of you have done such amazing things in the world. Thank you for spending this small sliver of time with us here on WinsDay. We really appreciate both of you coming on and sharing your expertise. This has been a really interesting conversation.
Thank you so much, Jessie, for having me.
Absolutely. And well, we're going to be back next week with another great episode. I don't know what both of you are doing WinsDay next week, but if you're around, we're going to have on Jessica Corthias and Danit Ionovici. They are both, one's a co-founder of Her Brand & Co. and the other one's content marketing and communications manager. So it's going to be another marketing conversation for the books. And I'm looking forward to it. But again, thank you both so much for coming on. And we will be repurposing this into podcast, short form video. We'll be emailing it out to you. But until next week, everyone, we hope you all have a really great night. Thank you, Debra and Divya.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow.